What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back for another match day fan show as Spurs win 5-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Everton, which is a vintage Tottenham display today. I thought, for the most part, the majority of the players were absolutely sensational today. Kane getting an absolutely devastating performance today, 2 goals. Doherty, Matt Doherty, all the memes going around calling him Mara Doherty and all this kind of stuff. An absolutely sensational display from him. Bentancur came in and definitely provided something extra than Harry Winks does anyway in that middle of the park. And Kulusevski, who I thought was absolutely brilliant today. Rez, how happy are you right now?
Very, very, very happy. Very happy. Very happy that I was proven wrong. And that we won and didn't lose. So yeah, it was magnificent performance. We've been looking to batter someone for a while, and we did.
Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Anyway, let's bring on our first guest. Got a lot of guests waiting to come on and have their say today. And the first guest is, here's KPV. Here's KPV. Here's KPV. Kyle, how you doing, brother?
Yeah. Yeah.
You happy?
Yeah, I am. Why? Why couldn't I be happy?
Talk me through your thoughts on the game today, mate.
Absolutely brilliant. Like, I'm still buzzing. It's just Man City all over again.
And, you know, very good display from a lot of players on the pitch. Who are you most impressed with today?
Ginger from Sweden, Kulusevski.
He did well, didn't he? He was very, very good.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Is top 4 back on now, Carl?
Oh my God, I got asked this by Dave earlier, and hell yeah, I'm not giving up on it yet. Like, we still got to play Man United, Brighton, and the scum, West Ham and Arsenal. So, of course it is, but we just need to beat Man United and need Leicester to beat Arsenal. So it is back on, but we're only, 3 points behind the scum, so it is back on. Why does everyone keep asking us this every time? I'm not giving up on it. I'm not giving up. Like, yeah, I'm not giving up on it just yet.
And in terms of Matt Doherty today, what a performance. The Irish Cafu, exactly. What was that performance from Matt Doherty today?
I don't know. Like, he's been playing great the last 2 games. Away at Leeds, first goal and an assist, and yeah, 2 assists. Like, where's Brian Daigle? He would have said, like, if he was to put a bet on him to score and an assist, then what would your reaction be? I said, oh, fucking hell, I don't know, you put a bet on that.
Did you put a bet on Carl?
I would have, but I didn't do it yet because I don't play Sky Bet. Do you play Sky Bet?
Sky Bet? No.
No, Super 6 then. Super 6.
They haven't paid us for promotion, so we don't mention their name.
No.
Oh, Super 6.
Other betting channels are available.
Yeah, William Hill, cool if you want to play. But yeah, brilliant game tonight. And as I said to Dave Harris before the game, let's get revenge over Frank Lampard and Everton. And I said it. Even though we lost this fixture on the opening day last season, because if it wasn't for Winks or anyone giving a free kick away, then we would have lost. But revenge, Lampard's finally lost here. But happy birthday to Jordan Pickford, by the way, 28. But your birthday didn't go too well, did it? You got battered, mate. But anyway,
maybe they'll give him a cake, Kyle. What do you think?
No, I don't think we're making a cake after that performance. But maybe we will when the World Cup starts. But I actually forgot to say something to Ben, actually.
Go on.
You haven't done a Kane Song giveaway like last season you did. Why are you still not doing that? You did it last season, but not this time. Bring that back.
Maybe if we bring it back, Harry Kane will repeat his goal tally from last season. So maybe we should bring it back from now until the end of the season. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, like Kulusevski, I must say, has been brilliant. Bentancur, like, apparently someone said he's been poor in the chat, but hell no. The guy is brilliant. We bought him permanent, but make Kulusevski permanent. Just do what we did with Gio. Make his deal permanent. We might as well. We found 2 replacements, but then Belly and Ericsson. So, yeah, why not? These 2 are brilliant. Just make Kulusevski's deal permanent, Daniel Levy, or else we're going to have a fallout, mate. Sign me up. I can score goals more than any other team in the world. I can score goals.
Kyle, I got a
Sign me
message
up.
here from you from Daniel Fields. He says, Lampard put in a spliff, Kyle.
That's what Expressions always said. You can put in a split blood. Just no. Am I agree? Yeah.
All right. Big up, Carl. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming on today, my brother, and I'll
Nice one,
speak to you
Carl.
soon.
Yeah, I'll see you on Saturday for the Man United game. 6-1
All right.
again, please. We'll destroy. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on. Always great having KPV on the channel. And look how we got next. Look who we got next. I don't know if he's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or he's on the set at EastEnders, but we got Barry here.
It's both. It's both. Knowing him. What's up, dude?
It's
All right.
both. Tottenham get battered everywhere we go.
Tottenham get
Tottenham
battered,
get battered
everywhere we go.
How we doing, boys?
Very, very good. Very
Brilliant,
good.
mate. How you
are
doing?
I think, Rez, you've got yourself an invite back, mate.
That's up to my charming host to decide, mate.
Well, what did I tell you just before we came on air? You have to be here for every game now. The omens are good, aren't they?
Until we lose, and then I'm never coming on again.
Oh, guys, just what a game. Just from front to back. We're just on the way back from the stadium. Yeah, just incredible. Just incredible.
Who you got with you there today?
We've got Gaza. Hello, Rez.
What's up, Gaz?
It's just us tonight. We're not on a date, by the way. We're
You lie.
well, Rez. Unfortunately, you were cheating on Shelfside Spurs, mate, by ditching us, right? So we had to.
Listen, you're the one, Nick, who wanted to hang out with Danny Kiriakou so you could smell him. All right, so
Well, he is the most delectable smelling human being on this planet. So what can I say?
I hope you're watching, Danny.
I hope your future wife is watching, Barry.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I don't know whether she is or she isn't. I did say that I was coming on, and she got very excited. She was supposed to come and being a Liverpool supporter, but she said, "Oh, I don't want to go and watch that rubbish." So texted me at half time and said, "I wish I'd come." So
Yeah, you see, hindsight, mate.
But on the
But yeah,
game, sum up
go
the
on.
game for me, Barry.
oh, just Matt Doherty was incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. 2 assists, just absolutely bossed that. From 1 to 11. Bentancur, what a difference. Decky, insane. What can we say? It was just an absolutely awesome performance. Exactly what we needed. But let's not go crazy about top 4, guys, because I know everyone's going to be going, top 4's back on. Top 4's back on. But let's just take it game by game. We go to United on Saturday evening, and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, no, absolutely spot on.
Just a question for you, Nick. Nick, do you reckon we were discussing this, you and I, Ben? Do you think that I keep saying Gary Doherty, Matt Doherty is finally being played as the player that he's supposed to be, in the position that he's supposed to be? Do you think that might be contributing to it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's getting that run of games. He's got the confidence. I mean, it was just, the only criticism that I would say of tonight is that we didn't go for 6, 7, and 8. But hey, look, it's helped the goal difference out. But Doherty, absolutely insane. He's Dohertinho, as Aaron Dove would be saying. So yeah, absolutely, he was absolutely incredible. That tackle. I mean, to be fair, the ref was pretty inconsistent with the tackles that he was giving. But look, 5-0. We couldn't have asked for better. Couldn't ask for a better result.
Absolutely. And a player that I wanted... Actually, now you're in the stadium, right? Tell me the reaction for Dele Alli.
Oh, it was absolutely insane. So, I mean, he was they were obviously singing the Dele Alli song as he was coming on. At the end of the game, it happened that we were all singing it again. A lot of us stayed. I think Sim was there with Grandpa. We were all singing, and he got a great reception. Hugo even told him to go over to the fans, and
he looked like he was a bit embarrassed to do it because of the Everton fans, but he wanted to have it, and it's our chance to say goodbye, and he looked quite emotional about it as well.
Yeah, it's a great reception, really loud. It's I guess our opportunity to say goodbye to him. Thanks for the memories, and it was a great reaction as a lot of us thought he'd get, but it was louder than I probably thought he was going to get. So.
Yeah, good. So big up to the Spurs faithful in the stadium today.
Definitely showing
for
some
that
class.
Dele Alli send. Yeah, a touch of class. Yeah, 100%. Another player who I wanted to ask you about is Kulusevski, Rez's man of the match. My very close second. I thought he was a chance creation machine today, wasn't he, Barry?
Yeah, look, some of the touches, that little back heel down the line in the second half, just his touch, his awareness, just him and Bentancur ran things today, and Højbjerg looked a different player with Bentancur and next to him, but Kulusevski was insane again, absolutely insane. It just goes to show what happens when Conte gets nearly a week with the players. So long may it continue.
And are we really seeing the staple of an Antonio Conte team now? Against Leeds, Matt Doherty and Ryan Sessegnon both getting involved in the act. Today, Sessegnon with an assist, Matt Doherty with 2 assists and Reguilon with a goal.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a shame. I mean, obviously, we don't know I think Sess has done his hammy, but it wasn't a bad thing, right? Because Reggie came on and he had something to prove. So it's kept him hungry. It's kept him wanting to, show what he can do as well. So, look, we'll see what happens with Sess at the weekend. But yeah, look, 1 to 11, they were fantastic today. And Romero with that. Okay, he got booked, but that was a meaty challenge, I think, on Richarlison. So
Definitely was.
I think that challenge on Richarlison actually it was a proper old school reducer. It was sort of like, don't get too cocky because I'm here.
Yeah. And it was nice to bring Son off after 65 minutes. He's had a bit of a rest. He looks a different player tonight as well. And Kane and him on the same wavelength. I mean, it was just, we got the early goal, early 2 goals, and didn't take the handbrake off, which was awesome.
All right, Barry, thanks for coming on today, my friend. And big up Gaza as well. And we'll speak to you very soon.
Speak to you soon, boys. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Take care, pal.
Always good getting Barry on straight off the step from EastEnders over there.
Yes, indeed.
And look who we have next. We've got the Jorical. Big up, Jory. Long time no speak, Jory. How you been?
Hey guys, I've been
Hey,
good. Hey guys. I've been filming. That's why I don't call in.
Okay.
So,
Everything going well with you?
Yeah. Sipping champagne tonight.
5-0 win. That's what we're talking about, Jory. And how much did you enjoy that performance today?
I loved it. I'll tell you what, Ben. This was the game that I originally was going to come over for. So I kind of messed up.
Probably
that
best
one.
you didn't then, Jory. Probably best you did.
Yeah, exactly. So let's not have me in the stadium.
Jory, can you not come over for the Man United game?
No problem, guys.
Thanks very much.
It's not going to be a problem. No, it was a beautiful thing to behold, and we have to caveat it. I think Everton right at this moment is maybe the weakest team in the whole league right now. They're really having a serious breakdown, I think, and Lampard is not the guy to bring them out of this situation. I think.
Absolutely.
He has a lot of qualities, but this kind of this is not the type of job I would get Lampard for sure. But what we could see, even though that Everton gave us space and time and all of that, what we can maybe see is what the plan is supposed to be, what the instructions are to the players, and they're now actually able to execute them because they're not being pressed too hard, or it's not it's not being challenged tactically like better teams would do, and so on. So and when you see that, then you actually, okay, we're progressing. Okay, every man on the pitch actually has his orders, and he's actually following a plan, and it's holistic. What we saw tonight is a holistic performance, and you're hard pressed to really put a finger down and criticize anybody for their performance tonight. So yeah, it was really beautiful. The other thing I'm
No one
super
really put
happy.
a foot wrong today, did they? I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
think the
Other than
only-
one or two little bits and pieces, everyone's performance seemed fairly.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, to be honest, the only thing that kind of got me going was a couple of bad passes or bad
Out the
challenges
back.
from Doherty. Um, but other than that, it was pretty smooth and pretty pretty like there was an instruction set for the whole team for each situation. There was, like, it really felt deliberate and contemplated. There wasn't any randomness to our play. So
I would say, Jory, that the only thing that I didn't like from the game was Sessegnon today, to be honest. I thought he'd done really well to get his assist, but in that
Yes,
first
apart from
45
Sessegnon,
minutes,
sorry.
I felt that he just kept losing the ball in really dangerous areas time and time again. That's the only thing, the only down point I can really put on the performance today.
yeah, I mean, there was a couple of I agree, and better teams would have punished us
Would have
more for that.
capitalized, yeah,
Bentancur, for example, did some lovely dribbling, but then lost it on the last man within a very dangerous spot as well. But also, that being said, like, it also seemed to me, like, especially with the Bentancur dribbling, it's like they also have maybe a little bit more of a clue when to go on, take on these players and try and beat them, and because he had some safety behind him. It was not a good spot to lose the ball, but there was safety there, and we didn't get punished. So but for me, like, the wing back situation is amazing, seeing it really develop now, and especially considering that we don't have any world class wing backs. So and like, Doherty was a complete write-off till very recently, and he comes and delivers this kind of performance. For me, also, I'm very happy to see that my work in Torino this summer is paying off. With Kulusevski. That was definitely the right move for me to go and have a talk with him.
Give me a ginger from Sweden. What you expect? What a performance that was today, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the thing, like, everything around Kulusevski, like I told you guys when I was there, and all the Swedes were always telling me, like, no, he's a big thing. He's gonna, like. And I had heard very little about him at that time, and I just took their word for it and thought, yeah, he's got huge potential, like thousands of other players. But let's see, but it seems like he's really grabbing this opportunity. And then also, for me, like, this, there's many, you can break it down in many ways. Like, he is one of the most running players in football in general. He averages over 14 kilometers a game. He's quite fast. He's on, like, you need to get into Son Lucas territory to actually beat him in a sprint. He does not accelerate like those kind of guys, but he is really fast when he gets going. He's got this enormous stickiness. Not only is a good dribbler, but he's strong with the ball at his feet. And most of all, he completely, takes note of the game and of the situation, and decides based on that. And he's a very, very intelligent player, which you often get from these Scandinavian. Usually, the problem with Scandinavian players is like Højbjerg is one of those. He's got a very, very good good mind and a very good attitude, but skill wise, it's just it's limited. It's not that I'm super happy with Højbjerg, but he's never gonna be rivaling a Messi showreel or anything like that,
Yeah,
but
technical ability you're
Kulusevski
talking.
actually has the finesse as well, so he's quite the weird breed actually. But for me, Kulusevski is like there's magic about him, like the guy that comes to mind for me, not so much because of the play style, but the way he makes me feel is Modric. I feel like he's got that kind of just maturity and like understand, like the game is easy to him, like the tactics and the vision of the game seems to be kind of easy. But he's 21 years
21,
old,
yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
and he's playing like
he
this in the Premier League,
he
so
seems to play the game a couple of seconds ahead of everyone else. That's the sort of comparison I think. Essentially, like
It's
Sheringham used to do.
Exactly. It's kind of like, it's very rare that you see him surprised. If you take like one of my favorites, as you know, is Lucas. Lucas has got a ton of skills to get out of any situation. But Lucas is surprised all the time, like he is a little ball of chaos himself, so the randomness gets heightened often around him. And that's actually one of the things I like about him, because it can make these teams that sit back, they can get in this disorder and out of shape, and something can happen from that. But Lucas himself is often surprised by the situation, often caught out by the situation. Kulusevski, he there's like all his movement says that he's seen it a couple of seconds before, just like you say. He knows what the next stuff is. Even what was the chance where, who was it that shot where they should have laid it back? Was that Sessegnon maybe, or I remember, like we had one chance where it was Sess, or maybe it was Doherty even, that went for it. It was Doherty. And Kulu just kept going back and back and clearing his defenders, so the pass would get easier and easier, because for the cutback pass, and I didn't even follow Doherty in that shot where he came from the corner there, but Kula had completely, like, he was in complete space there and ready for the shot, so whereas many other players would simply have followed the play into the bunch of the players, so yeah, I think I don't want to jinx it or anything, but I really, really feel like the service is gonna be at another level now from now on for Kane and Son, and of course
they need it.
Yeah, they need it, and they especially Kane is now, like, the execution that he's
that finish on the volley was just something else, wasn't
sublime.
it? Crazy,
Sublime.
That's such a hard shot, and he makes it look like it looks completely pedestrian, but it's like almost every player in the world would mess that shot up, and most wouldn't even attempt it, and rightly so, but Kane, and I, even when the cross came in, I knew he would do it, and I knew he would put it in there, So that's kind of the shape we're seeing from Kane right now, and yeah, like you really coined it really well when you said that the execution or you said, no, the focus or something you said, that Sonny is lacking a bit of focus. He's overthinking it.
He's a bit blurry.
Like,
I described him as.
Yeah. And Kane, like, whatever Sonny has lost, it seems like Kane took that and then some, So
yeah, absolutely.
Because and that's the funny thing about Sonny. Even when he's at his worst form, he still scores, and still
That's right.
provides assists and so on. So,
Exactly, and
God bless him.
That's why you can't take him out the team,
No,
Jory, because
absolutely.
No,
even when he has a bad
no.
game,
We shouldn't even be thinking, man. No, no,
yeah,
no. I
exactly.
mean, we're getting our money's worth anyway, and what he needs is simply the time to work it out,
Exactly.
and he will get there, before the season's over. He'll be a killer machine, I'm sure, and like also like the fact that we now have this really clear trio up to or really strong means that our subs now are deadly. Like when Bergwijn comes in and stuff like that, it's so much more effective. Even Lucas, if he comes in and stuff like that, it's gonna be much more effective because all the teams now need to set up against that. And now if you've got a tiring Sonny, and you pop in a fresh Bergwijn instead. This is like it's gonna play mayhem, and they were lucky to get away with 5. I think,
Yeah.
to be honest, So,
Yeah, we
but
could have had
also we
anything up
need
to 8 goals. To be
Literally,
fair.
we could have scored literally 8 goals
Yeah.
today. But Jory, I want to
Yeah.
ask you: last 2 league games now, 4-0 and 5-0, albeit against probably the 2 worst performing teams in the league, in Leeds and Everton. Is top 4 back on now? Are we seriously in the conversation now?
No, top 4 is way, but I never thought top 4 was really out. It's more about ourselves, Statistically, we've always been in the game, and thank God the other teams are fluffing around like we are. But the question is simply, when do we, now we've had 2 teams in a row where we have had the time and the space to execute Conte's plan, and we can see it work, and it's a beautiful thing. Now we need the guys to do it when it gets gritty, when they are
Yeah.
under 100% pressure, and they will certainly be under that in when we meet Man United. So I think at some point even this team will get there, I'm sure. But will it be in time? I don't know. If let's say this now we're kicked on. Let's say it's gonna be a steady, better and better implementation of the contest system from now on, then top 4 is ours. We're taking it for sure. I'm sure. If we're not there, simply for the lack of the players simply losing their focus and dropping out mentally and all of that, well then we're probably, I don't know. I've thought many times that if we drop points this weekend, it's going to be over, but then the other teams drop points as well, so for me that's not really, even though I'm very worried about top 4, we have to, it's kind of like we have to start at the start. We have to get the squad simply to execute on the prime premier conditions. If they do that, then I'm not worried. If they start doing that the last 2 weeks of the season, well then it's probably too late. But then I'm still gonna be happy about, at least we're there. At least we can then start building from that. So yes, I'm worried about the top 4 in terms of spend. We're all worried about how Levy will try and mess things up in the next opportunity, and all of that, we're all worried about Conte getting sick of it, So I really am focused on top 4, but I also I'm trying to tell myself that we need first and foremost just to, it's kind of like parenting, it's like if you're gonna teach your kids a principle, you gotta have to be willing to sacrifice the dinner out if that's what it takes. You're just gonna, all right, then we're not going out for dinner, that's just how it's gonna go tonight. So um, otherwise you're never gonna teach them any principles, really, and that's kind of where I'm at with the squad and the Conte situation. Is like we need They need to do this when it's no fun, when they're up north in the rain and they can't break down Burnley or something similar to that. Then they need to do it. And in terms of breakdown, I really think that we need to we like that. That's really our weakness. That's when the Spursiness comes back in. Is when we get the opportunity to kind of be lazy mentally, lazy emotionally, and lazy running wise, then we do that. And that's not because when we need to break down teams, we really need to move a lot when we have the ball. The players that are not on the ball need to move a lot, and they never do that with us, you know. And we need, for me also, we need to shoot more from the outside. We need to just in general create more havoc instead of trying to go about it this slow and orderly way. It's never worked, and it's never gonna work, and we always end up conceding anyway. So I don't think
But
that's the
not
way.
today, Jory. But
Not
not
today.
today.
No.
Clean sheet. Lovely.
Big up,
Yeah.
Jory. And by the way, back on your comment about how to be, a parent and stuff. That's why Jonas is so well brought up, and that's why Daniel Levy should take note, right?
Yeah, well, Levy, you can come and get my parenting any day you want. It's never too late.
Don't come to me. I don't think I'll give you parenting, Daniel.
Big up, Jory. Thanks for coming on today.
All right,
We'll speak
take
to you
care,
soon.
guys. Bye.
See you, bud.
Up the Spurs. Love the Joracle as always. Next up is big Ryan Isaacs. Come on, Ryan. Ryan, how we doing today, bro? You're on mute.
Again, big smile on my face.
Were you at the game
We can
today?
tell.
Yeah, I was. I got home. I left early because the game was. I've got to be up early for work, so I left after about 80 minutes when the game was done and dusted. And you ran up the high road trying to get on the trains as quick as possible. So
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Before we get into the
Happy.
game, I wanna get your opinion on the Dele Alli reception today.
he got a good reception. Didn't expect anything less, for what he gave to the club in the first 4 years. Yeah, he was, again, when he came on, non-existent really, but yeah, he's an Everton player. I don't particularly want to talk about Dele that much. I'd rather talk about the performance from Spurs.
Let's go on, run through it. Just sum up that performance for me.
Doherty was brilliant, man of
Yeah.
the match.
Yeah.
What more? It's just about consistency now. Can he go on a run now, putting in 8s and 9s out of 10s consistently? If he can, then he might have earned himself a position where Conte will have to think, well, do I get rid of him in the summer? Because he was definitely on the short list to be shipped off in the summer. But if he keeps putting in performances like that, then there will be question marks about whether he should be let go or not. But that's not
Ryan,
me.
some
That's
of those
up to-
assists from Matt Doherty today, Kevin De Bruyne would be proud of them, wouldn't he?
It was the second one was almost a carbon copy of the Højbjerg pass to Kane at Leeds last week. So we seem to be doing that quite a bit often, chipping the ball over the top for Kane to volley in. But the first assist was just brilliant. Just might have been a bit lucky, just the way it got through to Kane. But you got to play the pass to have the chance. And it was just great not seeing sideways FC and backwards FC in operation. It's nice that we played forwards, aggressive, passing forward, quicker. But at the end of the day, that is still a woeful Everton side. Sorry to be a bit more downbeat about it. It was a great performance, but that is the worst performance I've seen from any side this season.
Oh, there's no denying it. Everton this season have been absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. They're hovering above the relegation zone for a reason.
They are going down.
Really? You think they're going down?
They're getting relegated. Leeds will get out of it based on the performance they put in on Saturday. Everton have got no chance. So bit of perspective here. Go again against Man United and we can put in the same performance. then we can start talking top 4. Don't want anyone getting all hyped up about top 4 just yet.
I think so too. Yeah.
And the main thing is we put 5 past them, boosts our goal difference up and closes it on Arsenal.
Yeah, I think
again,
it's
the
4
only
goals now.
negative is we didn't get 6, 7 or 8 because that would have really helped us with the goal difference, because at the moment with that goal difference it's like an extra point. It is. And it does make the North London derby, when it is rescheduled, if Arsenal slip up the next couple of weeks, because I think they got Leicester and Liverpool, it will make the North London derby massive.
Yeah, if they fancy turning up this time.
Yeah, unless someone gets a hangnail, maybe Lacazette gets a little hangnail and poor chick can't play, and so obviously COVID restrictions would then apply, and so the league would probably give them like 3 points or something and just be done with it.
Yeah,
I'm not bitter.
Look, every gunner's a runner. We all know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it was a solid performance. I wouldn't say we were amazing, because again, perspective, it was a really poor Everton side. But we done what we had to do. It was a good, solid performance, and hopefully that's us building a bit of momentum again before we end up blowing it at Man United. Hopefully we don't.
You going up to Manchester?
Hopefully, I'm hoping someone can get me a ticket. Still waiting on one, but it's a roller coaster, this Spurs side. We're up and down, up and down. We're up again, and let's just hopefully we can sustain a bit of consistency, as that's what we're just crying out for at the moment. Look, our last 2 performances, yes, against the worst 2 sides defensively in the league, you've still got to do the job and put the performance in and get the job done, because there's been plenty of times where in past seasons, even this season, we haven't got the job done and we haven't been ruthless enough. And we were today, which was good.
Got to be happy, though. Last 2 games in the league, a 9-goal difference swing, isn't it? That's been massive for us in terms of the goal difference. I mean, only 4 goals behind Arsenal now. I mean, you got to be happy with the way things are going at the moment. I know Middlesbrough aside, but in the league.
Yeah, Middlesbrough aside, yeah, and Burnley. It's been good. You can't complain much. The job done, and I'm just wondering whether we can phone up Brian to say stay in Canada, because it seems whenever he's in Canada we go on a run. When he's come back it's always win lose, because I remember he was here for the Man United.
It's possible, Ryan, although I will say we've only played 1 game since he's gone, so we can't really tell if we're on a run or not.
Yeah, but
see, I'm still lawyering for you, Brian. I'm still lawyering for you, man, even though you're in Toronto.
I know he'll be very pleased with the results. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, performance very good. Doherty, Kulu, Kane exceptional as always. Romero, tank. I love the tackle on.
That was a crunching tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah,
crunching tackle. Love to see it. Just one of those standard old-fashioned tackles. You love to see it. It's nice to see a bit of physicality back in the game, and just to let your opponent know you're there. It was Lloris had absolutely nothing to do with it. So, and he did have something to do. He caught the ball. A couple of times, which is nice. He didn't punch it. He caught it. Yeah.
Did they have a shot on target at all?
No, no shots on target.
No shots on target.
One shot at goal, I believe, which was the one when we were 5-0 up. They shot wide, and 1 corner. That was it. That's all Everton had all game.
It was total domination today, Ryan. But big up for coming on. Hopefully, I'll see you up in Manchester on the weekend.
Hopefully so. Happy
and have
days.
a good week.
5-0, 3 points up the Spurs.
Come on. All right, that's big up to Ryan. Let's move on, and our next guest is Michael. How are we doing,
Hello.
Michael? All smiles today.
Bloody brilliant, guys. I just drank a beer, during the game, of course, and it never tasted this good. Really, seriously. I came here mainly because I have one big gift to the small percentage of our fan base who said that we bought Juventus bench warmers, and it's right here, and here it is. And here is the fucking second one. They are bloody brilliant. I love them. I love them both. Like, seriously, watching Kulu today, I know that Everton are are woeful. I know that Leeds are woeful, but those two games, watching Kulusevski in both and watching Bentancur in this one, yeah, I'm just amazed. I just love the fact that just one personal change from the previous from the game against Borough, and we look like a completely different side.
And you can only
I
beat
was,
what's in front of you. Ultimately, it doesn't matter how bad
yeah,
the
that's
team you're
right.
playing is. You've got to play them.
Yeah. Technically on paper you could say that Borough are bad, but they put us in a spliff, as as
That's
expressions would say, right? But I'm just really happy with this game. I'm really happy that we scored 5 because, as I said to you in one of the previous call-ins, the goal difference is going to be massive. At least I think in this race for the top 4. And I'm just full of hope right now. But of course, I have to say that I'm never confident in Tottenham. Like, I will never be confident watching Spurs. And actually, that's the thing that I love about this club, because you have to have faith, you have to believe in something, because like if you wanted a guaranteed success, then there would only be merit to supporting like the top 10 clubs of the world or top 5 clubs of the world, right? But you have to believe that something good will happen eventually. And I'm just really full of hope. And one thing actually I wanted to say to you guys, because right after this game I jumped onto the Premier League site and looked through the fixtures till the end of the season. And speaking of Leeds and Everton, those are the 2 last games that Arsenal will play this season, Leeds and Everton. And actually I think
Could be tasty.
that's massive, because they will fight for their lives. Both of those clubs are in the dire state right now, and yeah, they will fight to stay up in the Premier League, and those will be tough fixtures for them. And I'm glad that we have those fixtures behind us already, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on there. And I want to ask you this, Michael. Who the hell was that man at right back today? And what the hell has Antonio Conte done to Matt Doherty?
I wish I fucking knew. What the hell was that? I was like, I was lost with words. Like, what the hell? Please, Matt Doherty, keep this up to the end of the season. And like, seriously, I'm full of hope because of you, you Irish prick. But like, seriously, also I checked some stats, and he's tied for the second most assists this season in our team. He's tied with
Bloody
Lucas
hell.
Moura, and Heung-min Son has 5, right?
That's
What the
crazy.
fuck?
That says a lot, doesn't it?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it says a lot. Yeah, I actually think that the one thing that you guys said, we finally play the system that suits him, and that applies to every player that we have in our team. And as you mentioned a couple of times, Emerson Royal is a right back, right? And
Is he?
if you are tasked with well, at least well, at
Nominally.
least by the definition he's a right back. But if you are a policeman and you are tasked with doing a surgeon's job, of course you aren't going to be good, and you aren't going to perform well. And I think that this principle applied to both of them. I think that we are playing a good formation for Doherty. And of course, I don't want him to be the first choice after the summer window. But if he performs like that, he will be a perfect substitution and perfect for those like theoretically easier games, right?
But we still,
Yeah,
I mean, we still need another player who can play right wing back.
Yeah.
You can't just have Matt Doherty, no matter how good he is. You just can't have. It's the same way that you can't have just Kane as your only striker. You need depth.
That's what I said. That I would love him as a substitution if he plays like that, and
Absolutely.
I would love if we brought a better player than him, and for that player to be the first choice. And if he plays like that, we have right wing back sorted with one signing, not 2.
What do you guys think of my theory? I think it's because we've turned our right hand side ginger. that we're doing well. Now, should we go blonde on the left and sort of dark haired in the middle, or should it all be ginger?
It should all be ginger.
All be ginger.
All be
There you go.
ginger.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, I got a little bit of ginger in my beard, so maybe
There
I
you
will
go. We
sign you.
get the
come
place.
to London, my friend. Come to London. But love it, Michael. Thanks for coming on today. Brilliant call, and we'll see you soon.
Lovely, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
For
Cheers.
what you are doing, and see you. Cheers.
Up the Spurs. And I'll tell you what, it's on days like this which makes the job so much easier.
Absolutely.
Because after we have a terrible performance, it's just like, oh, how are we going to get through this?
Yeah,
and the player ratings tomorrow and the takeaways. And it's on days like this, nights like this, where I'm just so happy.
It just dominates everything, you know, especially a bad result. You know, when you've got a good result, you sort of go through the next few days with a little spring in your step. You know, you just sort of feel so much better. So yeah, it's a good start to the week.
Absolutely. And let's bring on the next guest, my good friend Eitan. Eitan, how's it going, buddy?
Hi Ben, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very happy after the win. I thought we needed it as Spurs fans after the last game, and I think it was well deserved. Like, I think very convincing. Apart from most of our wins so far, like in this part of the season, have been pretty convincing. Like with Leeds, I even thought Man City was pretty convincing. I don't think we've really scraped many wins. When we have won, I think we've been really good and showing great strength. But as Tottenham always like, when we lose, it's just the most awful thing in the world.
Yeah, tell me about it. And who were you really most impressed with? Because there was a lot of big performers on the pitch today. You know, Kulusevski, Cafu at right back, Harry Kane. You know, a lot of good performances on the pitch. But who really stood out for you?
I think there's a lot of play. I mean, obviously Kane, but I think we've got so used to Kane being just world class that he's done his thing. But then I think the surprise, obviously, as everybody's talking about, is Doherty. And I think obviously I'm not really sure what should happen with him at the end of the season, because I really thought that he'd be out this season. At the end of the season, I thought he'd be gone. But I'm really not sure now. I don't know. And I really think that Emerson almost seems useless to us at the moment, because like if Doherty's obviously performing better than him, he doesn't work in the system, and it doesn't really make any sense. So yeah, we're definitely going to need another right wing back. But I would be interested to see whether Doherty can even compete with whoever we bring in for next season, if he has a good end to this season. Because I think the performance tonight was definitely his best in the Spurs shirt, and for sure quite reflective of what he was like at Wolves, which is really great to see. Feels like we're getting our money's worth.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think he had the second most assists in a season for a defender, behind Trent Alexander-Arnold.
In his last season
at Wolves, I think, or something like that. And it's like he's shown before that he can do it. So the question becomes, why hasn't he done it until now with Spurs, rather than the sort of default position of, oh, he's shit.
Yeah. Well, I think that
I think he's
go on.
Yeah.
Go on,
I think he's been a bit unlucky, actually. I think I know he's got a lot of stick from the Spurs fans. I do think he's a bit unlucky, because he came in and he had to play in a back four system a lot of the time. He barely even got played really under Mourinho, but he was brought into a back four system. He was playing a completely different role from what he was playing at Wolves. So in the first place, I'm not really sure why we brought him in the first place. And then the minute Nuno came in, you'd expect he'd be happy. He's got his old manager back, but even then he wasn't really being played. And Nuno didn't even play the system that he was playing at Wolves. So, he didn't really get a chance there. And now Conte's come in, and this is exactly the system that Doherty used to play under Nuno. And even at the start when Conte came in, he was barely playing, and now he's had his chance, and I think he's done really well. Of course, when he has performed in Europa League, Conference League, stuff like that, he's been awful, probably the worst player on the pitch. But I do feel a bit bad for him, because I think he was just kind of like Emerson. He's just been brought into the wrong, by accident, into the wrong formation almost. It's just, I feel a bit bad for him.
Do you think the same could be said for Emerson as well? Because he's come in and he's asked to do a completely different role as well.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what we should do with him at the moment. He's still young, which is the only really positive light on it, is that, you know, he can improve. But again, I really haven't seen much improvements from him. And the only good thing I've seen him done all season was that cross to Mora against Burnley. And really, I can't remember anything else.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I don't think we should get rid of him in the summer. But if we're looking on improving our squad, then I think that, yeah, you can definitely find an improvement on him. Not that he's a bad player. I just don't think he works for the Premier League or, you know, in Conte's system. So I'm really not sure. And I can't see him playing centre-back. I can't see any other position really for him at the moment. I think he really is a solid right-back. Just
Definitely not centre-back. Definitely not centre-back.
For sure. And not right wing-back either. I don't know what he is.
Yeah. I want to ask you, who player hasn't been mentioned on the fan show yet is Rodrigo Bentancur. He's come in. He's slotted in straight away completely in this side. And Harry Winks obviously played the last couple of games, and Bentancur today, I mean, how much of a difference did he make for us?
Like, brilliant. I've had enough of that sideways passing from Harry Winks. It's boring. I don't want any more of it. Just, honestly, I think Bentancur, what's brilliant about him, trickery, he's got it, which I think we were talking about how Højbjerg doesn't really have the tricks, but I think Bentancur kind of does, so they balance out really well. And he's always looking for, like, a forward pass, which we don't really see it that often. We haven't seen it really since Eriksen, and I'm not comparing him to Eriksen because I still think we're going to need another creative midfielder. But I think he's probably close to our best midfielder, maybe joint with Højbjerg and Skip. But I think he's so much better than Winks, and I'm just not. Winks is just so up and down, so sideways passing, boring, and I've really just had enough of him. And I think today really showed how much better and levels above Rodrigo Bentancur is above Harry Winks. He was brilliant, really good.
Question for you, Aitan. When Skip is fit, who plays alongside Bentancur, Højbjerg or Skip?
Well, on paper, actually, Skip should play because we know that when Skip plays, we seem to win more often. I've heard that stat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is kind of up to Conte. I trust Conte to make a good decision.
Of course,
it's got nothing to do with Conte. You're making the
choice. Yeah. You can't wriggle out of it like that.
Okay.
It's your fantasy. It's your fantasy football team, and you can choose either Højbjerg or Skip to play alongside Bentancur. Who'd you pick?
I'm going to say Skip. I just think he has more. Yeah, I think he has more. I think he's a Tottenham boy through and through. He loves the club. You can tell when he plays, he tries in every game. And I never really, he always gives the most effort. And I'm not saying that Højbjerg doesn't. I really love Skip. And I think that because of his age and because of how young he is, I think it's important that we give him as much experience and as much game time. Because I really think, you know, if it wasn't for his injury and, you know, the fact that he hasn't really been playing as much as I'd like him to, you know, I really think he could be competing for the England squad, and I think he could be an incredible player like one day. So yeah, Skip.
Absolutely.
But it was a tough one.
Aitan, thanks a lot for coming on today, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later, mate.
So there's a super chat here from Koba. Big up, lads, and great win today. Coach Stell has been real quiet ever since Doherty came back to life.
I don't think you could put those two in the same sentence, Stell and quiet.
No, and I think there's a bit of shade being thrown there. See if Stells has got anything to say on that.
Well, we'll see. We'll give Stell the right to reply.
Absolutely.
But anyway, next guest is George. Big up, George. How you doing, mate?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
Yeah, all smiles after that 5-0 win today. Assess that performance for me today.
Yeah, it was a great performance. It was assured, I think is the word. I think he was confident. All the things that we weren't last week, which is, I mean, am I allowed to be ecstatically happy and rather disappointed at the same time? In that, if we had done that last week, we'd still be in the FA Cup and still have a stat, be able to, to go for a trophy. So it's kind of a little bit bittersweet for me. And just a little bit disappointing, really, that couldn't have been done against Middlesbrough. They've got it in them, and I just, I just think that yet again the club is kind of prioritising trying to get top four and get into the Champions League at the expense of the potential for winning trophies. But I won't dwell on that, because obviously tonight was a brilliant performance, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was really glad I was there. I was actually reluctant to go tonight, because usually I play five-a-side on a Monday evening, and I'd given that up potentially to go and get another embarrassment. But it was a good night. It was a good evening.
Maybe you should arrange five-a-side for whenever there's a Spurs fixture, and then
just
not
try
go.
to find any omen possible.
Yeah, any kind of pattern, anything that we can sort of apply. That's what you should do.
I think that's taking superstition a little too far, but
but how much more do we need at Spurs?
George, how much of a difference do you think Bentancur made today, as opposed to Harry Winks?
For me, man of the match.
Really?
I mean, I was watching him quite closely throughout the game, so I kind of missed the qualities of Kulusevski and Doherty during the game, and I was trying to really hone in on what he was doing, how he was doing it, because I just feel that centre midfield is where we are most weak. And his communication, he was constantly focused. I mean, that was one thing that was that stood out for me. Constantly focused, constantly communicating with the players in front of him, around him, pointing, where the space was, and when he was on the ball again, comfortable, nice in the pass, and just getting in the way of Everton. If there was a route for a pass, he was putting himself between the player and the pass. All the things really that I think Harry Winks is guilty of. Just doesn't put himself enough, make his presence known enough in that midfield, and is constantly standing back, and like everybody says, just tries to rely too much on his passing, when sometimes the passing isn't what's required. So to me, as I said, man of the match. I really, really impressed with that performance, and hope he continues it through. Really good.
That's an interesting perspective, because obviously, I mean, I turned around and I said, when Sky gave Harry Kane the man of the match, it was sort of like, well, anyone who scores a couple of goals and makes it look good will get man of the match with Sky. But
Kane was brilliant today.
He was brilliant, but I mean, are we ignoring the contribution that Bentancur made when we choose? I choose Kulusevski, you choose Doherty as a thing. Are we basically saying, well, unless you do something spectacular, your contribution is not necessarily ignored, but just isn't given as much weight? Because
I think so.
I think so. You're right. I mean, I think, George, you're right. Bentancur played really well. I didn't see him do anything particularly to sort of detract from his performance at all.
Yeah, I just thought he was, like I said, as following his game, the constant communication, which is something that we've just lacked. Højbjerg doesn't do it. Even, I mean, to a certain degree, Skip doesn't do it. But that constant communication, that calling out, that pointing, that you could see the focus, and you just felt that there was a confidence there in that position with him. Again, it could be another false dawn, because Everton were extraordinarily poor tonight. I think that they were really devoid of any energy to try and create and I'm not sure. Richarlison was just so quiet, so isolated. I've never seen him like that before. Usually he's the live wire, making the runs and making a real nuisance of himself. But today, he was not at the races. I mean, the whole Everton team weren't.
I think the Romero challenge might have done for him though as well.
Romero let him know he's there early, and and maybe he felt that.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. But I mean, look, we're talking about a whole team ethic during the game that wasn't up to it. I actually felt a little bit sorry for the Everton fans having sort of travelled down to watch that. I mean, if that was me, I would have just been, totally gutted.
Do you feel they can go down, George?
There's a chance on the basis of that performance. If they don't pull the proverbial socks up, I think there is a chance. Because what I saw tonight was the poorest performance I think I've seen this season from any team.
Is Lampard the man?
You've seen some poor Tottenham performances this season.
and we've seen some real poor Spurs performances. Yeah, I mean, I think that would top it. Yeah, I mean, it's there's a risk. So it was fantastic to see Dele again, and I was so happy that he got that reception, which was actually quite emotional. So yeah, hats off to all the Spurs fans that did that. I don't think actually. I turned around to a friend of mine that we were watching the game, and I've not seen a reception like that for a former Spurs player since Gaza came back, and funnily enough, was playing for Everton.
True, yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think that was the last time that I ever saw a former Spurs player get a reception like that, which was really good.
Wow. A player that I want to talk to you about, Heung-min Son. Sonny today got a goal. But what did you make out of his overall performance today?
Very enthusiastic. I think he squandered a couple of chances. Got a yellow card, which I thought was a little bit silly, a little bit rash. I think he still has a way to go to become the same Sonny of last season, if I'm honest. But he put himself around. He did what he needed to do. But I think there was a one-on-one, I seem to recall, with Pickford, which he really should have been more clinical with.
Yeah.
And I think at the beginning of the game as well, he took a shot which was really tame.
Yeah.
And I think his goal as well, I think it was a goalkeeping error from my recollection. I think Pickford let it go under him from what I saw.
Yes.
But I think, I think he's got a way to find his top form again. But I was happy to see him get on the score sheet, and again, I was glad that he came off as well, because I think partly his performances this season have been just because he's just so overworked. So I was glad he got a little bit of a rest towards the end of that game.
And finally, top four, George. I mean, we've spoken in the past. You told me top four is not on. On the last two league games, a 9-goal swing, 4-0 and 5-0. Are you thinking more positively about fourth, or still a lot of work to do?
I think there's a lot of work to do. I think Conte is getting there now, and we're seeing it. But I still say that it's going to take a little bit of a capitulation. We're seeing it now with... excuse me, we're seeing it with United. We've got to see it with Arsenal as well. So I think the problem is there that we're seeing an Arsenal now which are coming into resurgence, and they've got some really good players there who are riding a crest of a wave, and that's going to be difficult to break down. We have to beat them. There's no two questions about that. There is. We need to beat them at the Tottenham Stadium, and we've got to beat them convincingly. It's got to be a case of we've got to break their hearts a bit, because otherwise, I don't think it would be possible at all.
It will depend. It will depend on when the game's actually scheduled for as well, though, won't it?
Yeah, yep. That's the other. That's the other issue. The scheduling needs to tie in with them potentially getting. I think they've still got to play Liverpool, haven't they?
Next week,
and United as well.
They go to Liverpool next week, midweek.
Yeah.
And also United, are they playing them? I think they're playing them at the Emirates, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
And they got to go to Stamford Bridge as well, I believe. Well, I'm not sure if it's at Stamford Bridge or the Emirates, but they got to play Chelsea.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the performance with United over the weekend would suggest that I think you've got to say that Arsenal would be favourites at the Emirates. Chelsea and Liverpool are going to be a different kettle of fish, and we just got to hope that they lose those. It's difficult, isn't it? Whenever it's Arsenal and Tottenham, you know, it's the history is always they come out on top. So I would still say I think we're a little way away off top four, unfortunately, and I can still see Arsenal just nicking it.
All right, George, always great to chat to you, mate, especially after a win like that. Have a good night, my friend.
Absolutely. Come on, you Spurs.
Thanks, George.
Come on. Super chat from Studios saying, hi guys, what a win. What did you think of tonight? I absolutely loved every second of it, to be honest. Even the Everton substitutions. I mean, Mikalenko coming on, getting a standing ovation from the fans. Dele Alli coming on, also getting a standing ovation from the fans. And it was a vintage performance to match, wasn't it?
It was just a night of pleasure. It was an unalloyed pleasure. There was no real point. Even with my pessimistic Spurs fan hat on, that's not this hat. That's a metaphorical hat. It was still an enjoyable game. You know, there was a bit of nervousness, but once we started, sort of once that third goal went in, it really was. We were joking around it, but it was like, yeah, this is going well. Yeah. So yeah, unalloyed pleasure, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyone else left? All right, so that brings an end to the stream today. Phil, with the comment here, says, great stream, big up to Rez. And yeah, absolutely, big up to Rez. And Rez, do you want to let people know where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Shelfside Spurs Show on YouTube on Thursdays between usually kick off around 7:30ish. We did Steve Perryman. We had Steve Perryman on Thursday.
It was a great show.
And it was wonderful to have him on. He's told us some wonderful stories. So you can go and check that out. You know, give us a like and subscribe. If you're that way inclined, you can see my ramblings on Twitter as well. And my Twitter handle is @_Spur.
All right. Rez, it's been a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute
come back. I think after that performance, you have to come back now.
You're going to chain me to the walls, aren't you? Just for every result. It's like, please, no, Spurs.
No, but big up, everyone. Thanks for coming on tonight. Thanks for coming and joining us tonight. Me and Sim will be back tomorrow morning for Good Morning Tottenham, followed by the player ratings and the 5 takeaways. So you get another chance to have your say tomorrow morning on Good Morning Tottenham. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.